All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another Bad Batch review and thoughts. As you can tell, I'm not going to be doing these every week because sometimes the episodes just they don't do anything for me, and I'm not going to force myself to talk about it if I don't have any strong opinions. Last week's episode, I had to look up what it was about because I kind of forgot, and it was a cool episode. They were so concerned that this person was a separatist, and then nothing happened during the episode for them to be at the end like, you're not so bad. Like, obviously, he helped them, but there wasn't, like, a definitive moment where they would have switched their mindset. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunities with this show. But I'm here today because I really liked the episode. This week, we saw our girl, Hera Syndulla, making a return with a nice French accent, which obviously they addressed in Rebels. She lost because she was off-world for so long. And the boy Chopper's back, which means Dave Filoni was back, voicing him. But this episode really encompassed what I want out of the show, which is that transition from the Republic to the Empire and how these worlds are dealing with it. And something that's really scary about this episode is that the Bad Batch wasn't in it, and it was one of my favorite episodes of the season, and that was because the Bad Batch wasn't in it all that much, which is kind of bad if the show's called The Bad Batch. But I really like the political drama here. I like the plotting around, how do we get the senators? How do we get the rebels that were against the separatists but also didn't want Republic occupation? How do they deal with it? And seeing someone like Cham Syndulla, submit to the Empire is kind of like a big deal because it's like he was the one that was the most gung-ho about not being ruled by anybody. So to see how the people around him, how they deal with it, I really like that dynamic. And Hera had a lot of good scenes in this. I like the more subtle scenes where there's no dialogue. It's just the music and the visuals. And while I like the sentiment of her, talking about, I want to be a pilot, I want to be a pilot, they really drive it into the ground in this episode. I think every scene she's in, she's like, I just want to be a pilot. You live on a spaceship, that's all I want to be. Did you know that flying is my dream? She's really on the nose about it. I wish they were a little more subtle. I think the show lacks subtlety in a lot of moments that I think by now it should be a lot more nuanced, like the end of Clone Wars and a lot of different points in Rebels. But I did like Hera's interaction with Omega. It's always cool to see Omega see other people like her age and her like figuring them out and her trying to act all big and mighty like, well, I'm part of this. I cannot do her accent. I'm part of this crew. We do all this cool stuff. I'm pretty much the center of it. And when I mentioned visuals, I think this episode was easily the best looking episode. Aside from episode 1, this episode was unbelievable. Some of those sky shots, the clouds, those looked real. The planet or the moon they go to get the supplies from the Bad Batch, the moon that they go to get the weapons from the Bad Batch looked like something straight out of Marvel. Honestly, it looked like at the end of Avengers, that end credit scene where Thanos is there with all those other people, with all the purple and all the space nebula stuff, looked exactly like that, and it looked really good. And the fight scene at the end with just the flashlights and just the bolts being shot, and that was the only thing lighting up the thing, so cool. And the really interesting thing about this episode was his name Havoc? Not Havoc. Hazard? I don't know. I have to look it up. But the clone commander that is shown in a lot of scenes, obviously you knew something was different about him because his helmet was off. That's usually the symbol that they're normal, or they're a clone you can root for. Obviously something's up with his chip. He was not super orderly. He was like, are we sure she's a kid? Something's up with his chip. I kind of thought it was going to be like Wolf and Gregor, like their chips were taken out. They obviously didn't turn, but their chips were taken out. His is still in. So I'm thinking with Crosshair, they could turn up the chip to make him even more subservient to them. So that makes it seem like some chips would technically be turned down or, less functional than other ones. So I'm thinking this clone commander, there's a little hint here that he might not be fully Order 66 turned, which is really cool moving forward. And the main gripe I have with this episode was, why is Crosshair's face fine? And why does he have this random scar in the back when he was just burned in the face with a jet engine? I don't think shaving your head changes your face. I don't know. But maybe there's something with the scar, because that scar was kind of near where the inhibitor chip is. I don't know if it was damaged and they had to, really mess up his head or something. I don't know. But I thought his look should have been a lot more different. And Onfritar got popped in the temple. Oh my god, that was brutal. He got ripped down by that sniper shot from Crosshair. But yeah, we wanted that. We've wanted that for a long time, so that's good. So that's all my thoughts. I'm really happy that they're doing an arc. Like, they're going to do a Ryloth arc, like every freaking animation show from Star Wars does. But I'm really into arcs. I like that they're taking their time with this. It's not a one-off story, so I'm really excited for next week. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll see you next time. May the Force be with you. Peace.